Wall Street veteran Bernard Madoff has been arrested and charged with running a $50 billion Ponzi scheme.
Congress wants to know what caused the Enron meltdown.
Now, while the collective rage currently is focused on WorldCom,
Tyco CEO Dennis Kozlowski was convicted of looting hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is one of the biggest fraud cases ever.
Their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Find out more on this week's episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
Have you ever wanted to be someone that you're not? Do you ever have a dream of having more money than you can spend? I'm 31 years old and I sometimes still catch myself in daydreams like these. But for some people, they figure out how to make this dream a reality. Anna Delvey was a New York City socialite who seemed to have it all. A German heiress who had more money than she could spend while hanging out with New York's most elite. But what if this was all a scam? What if Anna Delvey wasn't who she said she was? Find out what happened on this week's episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
Sometimes I have daydreams that I have a Costco membership, so I can eat all the free cheese cubes I want.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Which is definitely a 30-year-old's, like a late 20s, just about 30-year-old's daydream.
Yeah, I love going to Costco.
Still don't have a membership.
I don't either. It's not worth it if you don't have a big family.
Well, we may or may not steal somebody else's snud, but I'm not saying that definitively. Don't come after me, Costco.
Well, if my friend has a Costco membership and I go with them to Costco,
that is allowed.
That's allowed.
But if you go and you cover up your picture as you walk in, who's to say?
Well, that's on them for not checking.
Who's to say you're not your friend?
That's right.
So
who's to say?
Not that I'm not
Alexander Martin.
Not that I'm doing that. Not that I'm doing that to get free cheese cubes.
Well, while Kashan is committing petty crime, we're going to talk about white collar crime. So welcome back to another episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
As we said a couple times already, I'm Kashan.
And I'm Nina. And this week's episode's pretty fun. This is one that has a lot of attention on it. If you are more interested in this story and want to find out more about it, there is tons of resources online, tons of interviews with this person. She is still alive and kicking and up to all kinds of stuff.
She is kicking exactly.
She's sashaying. She is waltzing. She is tangoing her way through
I don't think
life.
She's on that show anymore.
No, she got eliminated last week.
I don't know. I don't watch it. That is like a 65-year-old. Watching Dancing with the Stars is a 65-year-old person thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she got eliminated either last week or this week.
It's like the same people that watch like The Voice.
Yeah. My parents.
And yeah,
who are 60.
and it's like I am not one of those people.
No. So if you do watch Dancing with the Stars, you will know that we are talking about Anna Delvey. So let's delve into it. New York City. That's where our story takes place. New York City. The city where you go to make your dreams come true.
It's a concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
It is. New York. Yeah.
That was Alicia off-key.
That was me. I am Alicia off-key. Many people in all careers go to New York City to try to become something bigger, and Anna Delvey was no exception.
Ask any bartender while you're there.
Yeah.
They're all actors.
They're all actors. They're all singers. They're all dancers. They're all something. The young woman with large black glasses and a bounty of red blonde hair came to New York City to pursue her passion in fashion. Very Andrea Sachs of her. That's Devil Wears Prada.
Okay, I was going to say, I was like, what are you talking about?
So Anna Delvey had an internship with the fashion magazine Purple. And originally she had been living in Paris for that internship, but she came to New York in 2013 for New York Fashion Week. And she enjoyed the city so much while she was here that she decided to stay.
But she's from America originally, so she was just in Paris for the internship?
No, so actually she is from Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, she is European. She was living in Paris for a while. She had this internship with that magazine, came for New York Fashion Week, She found that she said that it was like easier for her to make friends in New York. And she found, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, because people are, I mean, like, the whole stereotype is that people are mean in New York, right? I guess they're also mean in Paris, though, right? That's also
yeah, they are. They're pretty rude in France in general. And we'll find out. She was from Germany, or she claimed to be. But she is European. She did not grow up in Paris. She had moved to Paris. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So went from Paris to New York. It was never her intention to live in New York, but she took a bite of the big apple and was ravenous for more. Delvey quickly made her presence known in New York City. She presented herself in such a way that it was almost impossible for her not to be recognized and admired. Not only was Anna Delvey a fashion mogul, but she made sure everyone knew that she was a German heiress and that her father was a billionaire. Now, how he made his billions was a bit unclear, but she would soon be getting a trust of $60 million.
Yeah, my father was a billionaire. He made that, you know, that little mustard that comes with the pretzels? He made that.
When people would talk about what her father did, like a lot of people were talking about him being in oil, but then people were like, oh, he also does solar panels. No one really knew where the money came from.
None of these are very German.
No, not at all. Anna Delvey was not afraid to get what she wanted. In 2015, she went to a party dressed fashionably in a black dress, and it was said that at this party she met, and I might butcher this guy's name, Michael Zufu Huang. He was an art student at the University of Pennsylvania. During the party, Huang revealed that he was going to the Venice Biennale, and Anna asked if she could tag along with him. He agreed. And since there was limited hotel availability, Delvey asked Huang if he could book her a hotel in the same hotel that he was staying at, and that she would pay him back. He agreed.
Why don't we just save money and stay in the same room?
And save money and save water and shower together.
By the way, nice black dress. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. The two went on the trip, and Huang says that the trip itself was pretty uneventful. However, it was clear that Delvey didn't have a real reason to go, and she wasn't invited to any parties and just hung around with Huang the entire time.
And this guy's just a random student?
She met him at a party.
Okay.
And he was really into art. He was an art history major, but like he already had his fingers in like a lot of art galleries and stuff like that.
Oh, he's a finger painter.
Yes, he was a finger painter. Okay. And Anna was like, that is my favorite art medium is finger painting. And so
weird you say that, actually.
So
I'm a big fan of the fingers. Yes.
I like the fingers. No, so as you'll find out as the story unfolds, Anna is always trying to meet people who are important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who it is, what business they're in. She wants to be with the most powerful people no matter what. And she was very into art and fashion. So meeting someone like Huang and going to this big event was a big deal. Because really, although he says that she didn't know anybody there, she was there to network. Oh. That was what her whole purpose probably. I mean, like, I don't know that for certain, but... So
she's a leech.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Is what you're saying.
Okay. A grifter is what a lot of people call her.
Okay. Yeah.
Things went south when they returned from the trip, and Delvey never paid him for the hotel. Huang thought that she had forgotten about it, and he didn't bring it up for 18 months. This man is very non-confrontational. That hotel could not have been cheap.
Especially because it was like overbooked everywhere. So yeah. Like, demand is high.
No, this is like going to like, I'm going to, I'm going for the Grammys. Can you book me a hotel? Yeah. And then you don't pay them back. Like no hotel is going to be under like $300 a night.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably way more.
It's probably way more than that. And they probably stayed at a nice hotel. They didn't stay at the Marriott. Or no, the Marriott's actually pretty nice. They didn't stay at the Red Roof Inn.
Oh, man.
The Italian equivalent of the Red Roof Inn. They stayed somewhere nice. Anyways, alarm bells started ringing for Huang after he had attended a birthday party for Delvey at the restaurant Sadel's. He says that at this party, there were a lot of people who were important, people in real estate, finance, and venture capital. However, even though these people were all invited to the party, no one really seemed to know Delvey. And it appeared that they had all been invited to her party by a public relations specialist that she had hired.
I can do that. The next time I have a birthday party, I can just hire someone to be like, get famous people to come to my birthday party.
Yeah. Honestly, it reminds me of the movie Richie Rich, where Richie's mom pays for the kids to all come over and hang out with Richie and to be his friends.
Is this the live action movie with Macaulay Culkin?
Yes. He'll come up in the story later.
Crazy reference. Okay, bud.
I love that movie.
You and a couple other people, I'm sure, still remember that.
Did you watch it?
I'm pretty sure. I watched a lot of the television
Mount
show.
Richmore?
Like I said, I don't know.
They lived in the Biltmore Mansion. That was where they filmed it. And they had... It wasn't Mount Rushmore in their backyard. It was Mount Richmore, and it was the family's faces carved into the mountain. How do you not remember?
Yeah, I don't know, Nina. You're making it sound so riveting. How could I not?
And they had jet skis.
Oh, cool. You're giving me the hard sell. I'm not watching. I'm not going back and watching this movie.
It wouldn't be the same. It'd be like when I tried to watch Hocus Pocus 2 years ago for the first time.
It's still good. Don't you dare slander it.
It wasn't.
Don't you dare.
All right. Anyways, I'm going to get canceled for saying that. After the party, Huang was contacted by an employee of Sadel's. They had found Huang from a post on Delvey's social media and wanted to know if he had her contact information. Apparently, she had skipped out on the bill for her birthday party and they wanted to be paid.
That's got to be a huge bill.
Oh, yeah, it is a big bill. It was a big bill.
They had to find him on social media?
Yeah, literally, they looked up her social media and then... was like, he probably wasn't the only one that got contacted either. They probably like clicked on who was tagged and then like reached out to each of them and was like, pay for the bill.
And it's just the one guy who was like, I actually know her.
Yeah, well, that too. Wong was obviously just stressed about this and demanded that Delvey pay him back for the hotel that they had shared 18 months prior. He did get his money back, but it came from a Venmo that was under a different name than Delvey's. He transferred the money to his bank account and then he blocked her.
Good for you, Huang.
Yeah, good for you, Huang.
Good choice.
Now, Huang wasn't the only friend of Delvey's to get swindled by her charm. Rachel DeLoach Williams met Delvey at a nightclub in 2016. Williams was also involved with the fashion world. She was a photographer for Vanity Fair. The two hit it off and they became really good friends. And whenever they spent time together, Delvey would often pay for everything when she and Williams went out. And she ended up offering her an all-expense paid vacation to Morocco. Now, obviously, Williams agreed to this because I would.
Depending on how good of a friend they were, yeah.
Yeah, they had been friends for a while before she was like, hey, come to this on this vacation with me.
I still feel like I'd feel weird about it. I can't be friends with people this rich. I'm not going to lie, because they turn me off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
If someone was literally just like, yo, you want to come with me to another country? I'd be like, and they're like, I'll pay for it. I'm like, no. You're going to fucking murder me.
Come on,
That's
Kashan.
a trap to murder me. Don't tell me it's not.
What if, like, I would love to think in my fantasies that one day I would make so much money that I could take my friends to the Bahamas. You wouldn't come to the Bahamas with me? You know I'm not going to murder you.
I don't know that.
One, I'm not smart enough to kill anybody.
You're the kid, that's right.
Well, like, I could kill you, but, like, I'm gonna get caught. Two, what am I gonna do with your body? I can't drag it anywhere.
Okay,
I'm
this
weak.
is starting to get rude.
I'm weak. If anyone weighs over 90 pounds, I cannot transport the body.
You say I don't look trim enough to be under 90 pounds? You say I don't look trim enough to be under 90 pounds?
You're 6 foot tall. If you weighed 90 pounds, you would look unhealthy.
I'm a string bean.
Okay.
Okay. Fine, I would go to the Bahamas with you. Fine.
Thank you. And Williams wasn't the only one to go on this trip. She also took along her personal trainer and friend, Casey Duke. So...
that's weird. Be like, hey, personal trainer, you want to come with me to Morocco? That's weird.
She also paid that personal trainer $4,500 in advance for, like, all her training sessions.
Well, at least he's getting paid. At least she's getting paid.
Casey Duke is a very well-renowned personal trainer, I found out. She has over 50 celebrity clients. Now, while on vacation, Delvey started experiencing issues with her credit card. It wasn't working. And since Delvey gave the resort a card that didn't work, an employee got fired for taking the card, which is crazy, but I guess I don't live in Morocco, so I don't know what the rules are. Delvey claimed that the issue was because she forgot to tell her bank that she was leaving the country. She asked Williams if they could temporarily use her card because the management was going to kick them out if there wasn't a working card. Williams agreed to this, and she was also leaving the trip before Delvey, so she figured that the situation would get fixed before Delvey left. And when I'm telling you that she footed the bill for this hotel, this was like the most all-inclusive thing I've ever heard in my life. Like they had, it was $7,000 a night. They had their own butler on vacation.
Damn.
It was crazy. So she's footing the bill for this. Now, the hotel wasn't the only place that Delvey's card was having issues. When the women went shopping, her card wasn't working there either. Williams ended up footing the bill for Delvey's shopping sprees. However, when Williams returned home, she realized that the full amount had been charged to her card. Well, it was actually cards. She gave 2 different Amex cards.
Oh my God.
$62,000 had been charged to her card, which was more than what Williams made in a year, which I don't really understand how you're able to get a credit limit that high, even with American Express, if you don't make that much.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, Vanity Fair, pay your photographers more.
Yeah, come on.
What the hell?
I know that this was like 2016, but still $62,000 in New York in 2016 was not a lot of money.
Yeah, you know she's got like 7 roommates in a 1-bedroom up there.
Oh, yeah.
They're all sharing one air mattress.
Absolutely. Now, Williams had to hound Delvey for the money, which all she ended up getting from her was a $5,000 PayPal transfer. She had told Delvey that she never would have given her card information if she had known she wasn't going to pay her back. Delvey had every excuse in the world to not pay Williams. She kept avoiding her and dodging her messages. Although this was an extremely stressful and difficult time for Williams, it did end up paying off because Williams wrote a best-selling book about Anna called My Friend Anna. So she did make her $62,000 back.
Yeah, but she could have made $62,000 more.
Right.
She basically got like a degree.
Well, right. And
in Morocco.
And like she ended up having to borrow money from a bunch of people too to like keep herself afloat. Like you're
borrowed 62 grand in the hole.
Yeah, dude. Like she paid back her boyfriend like loaned her like 30 grand like because of this.
Damn.
It was crazy. She did get a 6-figure book deal, but still. I don't know if like the stress and the trauma from all of that is really worth the book deal in the end. Delvey wasn't happy about this book. So Williams had left the trip early and Duke ended up leaving the trip early too because she got food poisoning. When she came home, she got a call from Delvey. Delvey was in a new city in Morocco and she was called Duke crying, saying that her credit cards weren't working and that she was going to be arrested if the hotel didn't get a working credit card. Duke also agreed to help her and she gave her 2 credit card numbers. Now, if she got paid back is a little unclear, but I don't think she got paid back in a timely manner.
So she went to a different hotel after her one friend paid for the first one for $62,000?
Yeah,
she went to another one and then asked this friend for it?
Yeah, so they were in one hotel. Then she ended up going to Casablanca. And when she called Duke, she was in Casablanca at a different hotel. She'd also taken a helicopter from one of these to another one.
Gross.
Gross is correct. And she would often tell people that, like, if she did have an issue with money, she'd be like, oh, it's because all of my bank accounts are in Europe. And I'm having issues accessing my funds because they're all in Europe.
That's never a problem, Anna.
No,
that's
it's not
a lie.
Real problem. It's not a real problem. So that all happened, but while Anna Delvey lived in New York City, she didn't live in her own apartment or own a house. She lived out of luxury hotels, which is very Eloise at the Plaza of her. Did you read that book?
Yeah, no, you're making a lot of references, and I'm not. They're all going by me.
Yeah. Well, she became very well known at the 11 Howard, a swanky hotel in Soho. Nefertari Davis, a former concierge and friend of Delvey's, recalls her routinely tipping staff $100 whenever she saw them. It was also common for Delvey to do this with Uber drivers or whoever she had to give a tip to.
Okay, I'm liking her a little more.
In this part.
Yeah, as someone who's worked for tips. Okay.
It worked out well for the people who received the tips, but
not so much.
You're going to find out about the rest of it.
Not so much when she comes back to her doorman and she's like, my credit cards aren't working on my bank accounts in Europe.
No, literally.
Mustard money has gone dry. Please.
Yeah. In an interview with 60 Minutes Australia, the interviewer is saying to Anna that people were impressed and shocked that she would tip so much, and it led them to believe that she had money. Her response was, if someone is impressed with a $100 bill, I don't know what to tell them.
Ugh.
She is something else.
Disgusting.
No, she's really something else.
These people, I know she's lying, but these people really exist.
No, I know.
So, and they're gross.
Yeah. Delvey lived at the 11 Howard in 2017. When asked why she just lived in hotels and didn't have her own apartment, she told people that it was cheaper and that she did it because she traveled often and didn't want to have a lease. Now, not wanting to have a lease, I get that part. However, the cheaper part is very hard to believe because the 11 Howard was $400 a night.
Yeah, why would you care if you had a lease though? You could just leave your property while you're traveling if you're paying less money. It doesn't matter.
If you have that much money, it does not matter if you have a lease.
Also, you don't need a lease then. Buy the apartment.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out. So Anna Delvey became friends with Nefertari Davis, the concierge, by bringing her food and wine and chatting with her on her shifts. And it didn't matter whether this was allowed or not because Delvey practically ran the 11 Howard. Davis has said in the past, you know how Rihanna walks out with wine glasses? That was Anna. And they let her. Bye, Miss Delvey.
Like with a glass of wine?
Yeah. So she would there's pictures of Rihanna leaving parties and stuff with drinks in her hand. And that's what Delvey would do. She would leave the hotel with a wine glass in her hand and walk around the street drinking it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But if I leave my house with a wine glass, I'm not like Rihanna. I'm drunk and disorderly in public and arrested. Bullshit.
Well, when people want to watch Rihanna take her top off, they don't want to watch you take your top off.
You sound exactly like the police officer who arrested me.
Unless you're in Boys Town.
I was not.
So, there you go. Should have been in Boys Town. At this time, Delvey was unemployed. She had quit Purple magazine, but that didn't matter. She was working on a business plan. The Anna Delvey Foundation.
You couldn't name it anything else.
No, the foundation was almost the plan was to make it like a Soho House in the way that it was intended to be ran, which, if you're not familiar, Soho House is a social club that you pay for monthly. They have a bar, a gym, a pool, and they have spaces that you can work from. They also have hotel rooms. There's one in Chicago. I think they're in 7 cities.
Okay, so it's like a rec center for rich people?
Yes. The Anna Delvey Foundation would also be a dynamic visual arts center. Delvey had a vision for the Anna Delvey Foundation, and she found the perfect spot for it. The building that she had scouted was 6 stories of the historic Church Missions House on Park Avenue in 22nd. The project was projected to cost over $25 million, and she was going to need a loan. Delvey was trying to get $22 million from the bank, and while she was doing that, she was acting as her own Swiss financier. She would send emails as this man named Peter Henneke and would send wire transfers showing how much money she had, but it was all fake.
I thought Peter Henneke might be the name of a backup quarterback in the NFL. Heineke is definitely the name of a backup quarterback in the NFL. I don't remember his first name though.
Is it Peter?
I don't remember, but I think that'd be funny if she was just like in a bar and ESPN was on and she's like, Swiss financier.
I don't think that's what she did, but yeah.
That's him.
She also forged documents showing that she had $60 million in her accounts.
Also, just the idea behind this is so stupid. Like, do you have one of those friends that just thinks they have really, like, they're like a groundbreaking ideas person? I've had people like that where they're like, listen to this, and they like tell you something and you're like, that's dumb, it's been done before and you're not doing anything new. That's exactly what this sounds like. She's just ripping someone off and she's like, yeah, but I could do it better, so give me $25 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know she is a woman. I know Anna Delvey's a woman, but like I think you see a lot of this more with men. And I'm not friends with a lot of men, so no.
I think it's just people in the business world.
And
I think women in the business world do the same thing.
I am not friends with anyone in the business world, so I don't get a lot of that. But I could see that happening for sure. She started fundraising and had Nefertari Davis, the concierge at the 11 Howard. She had Davis help her have large dinners at the hotel. Celebrities did attend these dinners, such as Macaulay Culkin, star of Richie Rich, and Martin Shkreli.
I bet she got along with him.
Oh, yeah, they did. He said he felt like a big nerd next to her. And I was like, well, you are a big nerd,
He is
Martin.
a big nerd,
You're
dude.
a giant fucking nerd, dude. And like, Anna Delvey is so much hotter than his girlfriend.
He's a kid that got bullied and like became a bully when he was an adult.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He was so upset that he got made fun of so much as a kid.
Oh yeah, he's like an incel who did something.
Yep, that's a great description of
Yeah, that's what he is. Around this time, the 11 Howard realized that they didn't have a credit card on file for Delvey. The hotel...
They're lucky this isn't Morocco.
They're lucky this isn't Morocco.
Someone would be fired.
Not only be fired, maybe executed. The hotel was new and some things had fallen through the cracks. Delvey was also in business with the hotel's owner, Abby Rosen. They were in business because of her trying to get space for the Anna Delvey Foundation. So they were working together. So some exceptions were made or some things went unnoticed with her. However, when it was clear that there was no guarantee that she'd foot the bill, the hotel got on her case. Anna Delvey owed the 11 Howard $30,000. Which I don't know how long you have to stay there. But
Wow, that's like half a week in Morocco money.
Davis confronted Delvey and told her that she needed to pay the bill. Delvey promised her that the wire transfer was coming, but no wire transfer came. And she did send a case of 1975 Dom Perignon as an apology to the staff, but the hotel would not accept the wine, and they told Delvey if she didn't pay up that they would lock her out and take her belongings.
Why do you just send the money? If you're buying
you
a
don't
case,
have it.
Well, how did she get a case of 1975 Dom Perignon then?
It's probably that's probably expensive too. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if she got that, just send the money.
I can't make sense of the senseless.
All right.
So miraculously, Delvey was able. Well, but here's the thing. You send all that wine, they get drunk. They think you gave them a credit card.
Yeah, but if you spent $30,000 on the wine,
Yeah, you might as well just foot your bill.
just give them the
Yeah,
money.
you should just foot your bill. Now, miraculously, after she came, so there was a point where Anna left the hotel and then she came back and her room was locked and they had taken all of her possessions. So miraculously, Delvey was able to get the Citibank wire transfer for $30,000 to the hotel. Once she left the 11 Howard, Delvey ended up pulling the same stunt at the W, which is another fancy hotel in New York City. However, once Delvey was kicked out of the W, she was practically homeless. She called Casey Duke, her personal trainer, who was in the middle of a date at the time, and asked her if she could come talk to her. Duke agreed because it sounded like Delvey was in distress. Delvey then invited herself to stay with Duke, who did not invite her to stay over. She was a horrible house guest. It was like Casey was saying that like when she was staying with her, she was like, "Do you have San Pellegrino?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so she gave her a bottle of San Pellegrino, and then like she's just drank it out of the bottle, like didn't even like pour herself a glass or just like swigging it out of the bottle, like ruined this girl's date. Like,
Yeah, I think we've established she's a bad friend.
she's a bad friend. And in the morning, Duke gave her a dress to wear because she was just like in athleisure and sent her on her way. When Delvey left, Duke realized that she had left her laptop. She knew that Delvey had done this on purpose so that she would return, so that she would have to return. She gave the laptop to the front desk guy with clear instructions to not let Delvey up into her apartment and to tell her that she was not home. When Delvey came to retrieve the laptop, she waited for Duke to come home, but Duke was in her apartment she was literally like waiting her out. Anna Delvey, I think she got there at like 4 p.m. She ended up staying until midnight. And so Duke was like trapped in her house the entire day because she didn't want to run into Delvey.
Oh, because she lied. She was actually home. But
she was home.
Okay.
She was home, but she was like, I don't want her coming up here.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, just be like, you can't stay here.
Yeah, no, literally.
You can't sit with us.
Stay here. You can't sit with us. You don't go here.
You're wearing sweats. It's a Monday. You can't sit with us.
Yeah. These pants are all that fit me. These sweatpants are all that fit me.
There's a reference.
Mean Girls. I'm having a very girly pop reference day that you're not understanding.
I just made a Mean Girls reference. That's a very girly pop reference.
I know, but you didn't get Eloise at the Plaza or Richie Rich.
I've seen Richie Rich. I just think I think other people are going to be like, what the fuck?
Fine. Go watch it. Go watch Richie Rich. Now, Delvey had been shady with her friends, but that wasn't the only thing she was shady about, because how was she paying for all this stuff? When Delvey pursued the $22 million loan with City National Bank for the Anna Delvey Foundation, she had bank statements proving that she had $60 million in a Swiss bank. She did the same thing with Fortress for $25 million for a loan for $25 million to $35 million. When the bank asked her for $1,000 for due diligence, Fortress asked her for $100,000 for due diligence. Delvey convinced someone at Citi for a $100,000 line of credit, which she then wired to Fortress.
Perfect.
When getting this line of credit, Delvey gave the email address, like I said earlier, of her business partner and financial advisor, Peter Henneke, who wasn't real. When she was questioned about him, because people tried to reach out to him, he wasn't answering his phone, his emails weren't going through. And when they were like, hey, Anna, like, we can't get a hold of this guy, she told them that Peter had died and to please not contact her regarding him anymore.
Okay, but we were contacting him regarding you. And you're alive now, so where's the money from you?
We need the money. Fortress then told her that they were going to send representatives to check out her assets at her Swiss bank accounts. When hearing this, Delvey pulled out of the loan, wiring the remaining $55,000 that she had to Citibank for personal expenses. She then deposited, I don't know where she got these checks exactly, but she deposited $160,000 in bad checks into the same account, withdrawing $70,000 before it was found out that they were fraudulent.
That's check kiting.
Yes.
Which is really hard to do with modern day banks. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
She pulled it off. And it was also said, like, she's pulling out this money in cash, obviously. And it was said by everybody that this girl always, like, she normally paid with cash and she would always have a ton of cash on her. In an interview I watched with her, she was like, I never had that much cash on me, maybe like $1,000. Like, it was never that much. I'm like, girl, I've never held $1,000 in my life.
I think the only time is when I was going to a bank when I worked as like a bartender to put it into the bank.
Yeah, maybe one time I did that, but
oh yeah, I would roll with $500 at once and look like a stripper.
Oh yeah,
or a Coke dealer, because I'd pull them out. I literally rolled them in bands, and I would pull out like rolls of $101 bills, like 5 of them, and be like, here.
Looks sketchy. In May 2017, Delvey sent a fake wire confirmation to Deutsche Bank for $35,000. With this money, she flew to Omaha to attend the Berkshire Hathaway, which is this big fancy meeting that happens every year. She went there with the intent of meeting Warren Buffett, and during the trip, Delvey claimed that she met Bill Gates. In August of 2017, Delvey deposited 2 more bad checks for $16,000. She withdrew $8,200 before the checks bounced. Then, after she got all this money, she took off to California.
At some point, you're going to be wanted by the police. This is very obvious.
Yeah, for sure. Because, at this point, the bank's reporting her. Rachel Williams actually reported her, too, because she was like, this girl stole this money from me, blah, 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 which poor Rachel Williams was told by the police to just set up a GoFundMe
Well, unfortunately, it's like it's like, is it a crime when you? I mean, like you purpose like she willingly gave her credit card.
No, I know.
It is a bad decision.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But is it a crime? Did she defraud her into giving it to her?
No, and technically, because she said like, oh, I can't pay for it, but I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah, I think when you voluntarily go like, okay, well, I'll pick up the bill this time, then I think it's just a bad decision, but it would be hard to label that as a crime. Mm-hmm. All the stuff with the banks, 100%.
Yeah,
falsifying
that's a crime.
Bank records is 100% a crime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Anna Delvey, who was the real Anna Delvey anyways?
She's the German mustard heiress.
Well, she's not. Anna Delvey isn't even her real name. Her real name is Anna Sorokin, and she was born near Moscow, Russia in 1991.
She's not even German.
No, she's not. She came from a family that was neither rich nor poor. Her dad was a truck driver who eventually started his own company, which led the family to move to Germany in 2007. So the family actually still lives in Germany. Delvey and Sorokin, whatever you want to call her, attended a small high school in Eichweiler, which is near the Belgian and Dutch border. Her classmates remember her as quiet and always loving fashion. So that is one thing that has stuck with her whole life. She has always been into fashion.
Well, she did that internship, so I guess...
Yeah, she was very into fashion.
She just started being like, I want to do things the easy way instead of working for it.
Yep. Anna graduated high school in 2011 and headed to London, where she attended St. Martin's College, which is a very prestigious college, but she dropped out and returned to Berlin. Then, like I said earlier, she moved to Paris and got her internship with Purple Magazine, and this is where she starts going by Anna Delvey. When asked about where she got the name, Delvey says that she just made it up. It doesn't actually come from anywhere specific.
It's exactly like when people go to college and they're like, I can be someone different. Mm-hmm. I can remake myself.
Literally.
This is my chance to go by Tank.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? I'm Tank. And I definitely didn't shit my pants in high school. Because that would have been not cool, and Tank's cool. It would have been
fucking lame.
If there's one thing, Tank's cool. Cool people don't shit their pants in high school.
They never shit their pants. Anna's father has said on record that they didn't raise her to steal or to act this way. And he also called his daughter selfish in interviews. He said she has a selfish personality.
I mean, it sounds like he might be kind of right, but...
Yeah, but when I watched a couple different interviews with her. One from 60 Minutes and then the other one from the Call Her Daddy podcast. What?
Are just... Modern day news is so funny. I mean,
yeah.
You have presidential candidates on Joe Rogan. Like, it's...
Well, and Call Her Daddy had Kamala Harris.
See, it's just getting... It's getting a little wild.
Yeah, it is wild. But she interviewed her while she was in jail. And Anna was talking about... I think her parents enabled her in a lot of ways growing up. Like, it kind of sounded
That's
like...
how kids get selfish.
Well, yeah. So, like... She was like, oh, I didn't really have a lot of rules growing up. And then when I turned 16, they tried to impose some rules on me. And then I was like, no, fuck you. And then, like, when she went to Paris and when she went to London, like, they paid her rent and, like, stuff like that. And so it was like, there's a fine line. But Anna Delvey, it seems like her parents very much catered to her. And, yeah. So I don't think in any way, shape, or form they made her into this monster, but they definitely, I think, instilled some selfish values into her, or they didn't help her like her natural predisposition to selfishness. But I do think that Anna has some sort of personality disorder. I think that she is, like, when you watch her being interviewed, I do think she's pretty textbook narcissist.
Sounds like it.
Just in the way that she talks, she's very unapologetic for anything that she's done. She will sit there and, like, look you in the face and be like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, she's even been like, no, like, I never said I was a German heiress. I never said these things. And it was like, well, people didn't make that up. Like, no one would make up that you're a German heiress. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And she has a very nonchalant attitude about everything. Like, in the one interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she was asking her, like, what was going to happen if you weren't going to get this money from these banks? Like, what was going to happen if you didn't get the loans? And she's like, well, I just, like, it didn't matter because I was going to get it anyway. Like, I would have gotten it from somewhere, so it didn't matter. Like, she just, like, has a very, like, whatever attitude. Like, it doesn't matter who's talking to her. She's just like, okay. Which is, you could just, like, tell she doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, she sounds fun she's fun at parties.
But Anna Delvey was arrested on October 3rd, 2017 in a sting operation while she was staying at a luxury rehab/addiction facility in California. When she went to California, that's where she went. Unclear as to why she put herself into that facility.
I'm about to say, did she have
I guess her
drug or alcohol addiction?
Not drug or alcohol, but I think she was addicted to, like, lying to people.
You don't get checked into a rehab for that, though. Yeah,
no, you don't. She was caught because the police worked with Rachel Williams, her friend that shelled out the $62,000. She got caught because Rachel Williams had contacted Delvey and asked her to meet her for lunch. And when Delvey left the facility, she was arrested. Delvey was indicted on 2 counts of grand larceny in the first degree, 3 counts of grand larceny in the second degree, and 1 count of grand larceny in the third degree. While she was waiting for her trial, Delvey was held because she's waiting on trial. The judge felt like she was a flight risk, which I think was very, very accurate.
Yes.
I would not have.
She's from another country. She has friends and family in another country. She has the means to leave. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a flight risk. So while she was waiting for her trial, Delvey was held at Rikers Island, which is a pretty famous prison, and not known for it being good.
That's a maximum security prison.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure. She said that her stay wasn't that bad and that she wouldn't trade her experience at Rikers. She said that out of the inmates, she found the ones that committed murder the most interesting.
This lady's crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's insane. She didn't have an easy time in prison, though. She had 13 infractions while she was there for fighting and disobeying orders, and she even spent Christmas in solitary confinement. Yeah, she was...
All right.
She was something else. She was like, Well, what's crazy, too, is, like, multiple articles I read, and then in an interview, she was like, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, it wasn't as nice as my hotel, but, like, it was fine.
Does she have an accent?
Yes.
Is it Russian?
It's very soft.
Okay.
It's very soft. It's almost like you could tell she's lived in multiple different countries because it's like
a mix. It's like a really interesting mix.
Yeah, when you listen, at least to me when I listen to it, I'm not like, oh, that girl's Russian. That's how I feel, at least listening to her talk. Delvey's trial started on March 20th, 2019. It was an interesting trial for many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons being Delvey's outfits that she wore. True to herself, Delvey made court a fashion show. She even hired a celebrity stylist to help her with her court outfits. There were Instagram accounts made dedicated to the outfits that she was wearing to her court hearings.
This is so dystopian, dude.
It's very District 1.
She has cheated so many people out of so much money, and we're just like, look at her in her A skirt. That's such a good choice for court today. This is weird.
No, it's definitely crazy. It's very what her crimes are to me is a little bit like Gypsy Rose, where people are just like, good for her. You know what I mean? Like,
no, Williams got. I mean, come on, man. This is not cool.
But as someone I was like, but a lot of times victims of white collar crimes are kind of not taken very seriously. And there's not a lot of empathy for people who fall victim to white collar crimes because it's like, oh, you should have known better. Oh, why on earth would you give her credit cards to charge for a hotel? But what people are also failing to realize is that this woman built relationships with people. Like the banks, okay, that's a different thing. But from the friends, like those 2 instances that I gave were not the only people that she stole money from in her personal life. She stole money from a lot of her friends. And so the problem becomes like, This is a close friend of mine. I've built a relationship with them. I trust them. Like, this isn't like you should have known better. Because if you truly believe, like, I have some good friends right now. If they came to me and they truly needed money, now I don't have $62,000, but if they really, really needed money, I would give it to them with the intention that they would pay. Like, I would believe them if they said they were going to pay me back. Now, one good rule of thumb that my parents always taught me was do not loan anybody anything if you can't, like, if you only have $1,500 and somebody needs $1,000 and you need that $1,000, do not give people more than you can afford. Like, don't ever give someone more than you can afford to give them. But
yeah, I mean, I never loan money, an amount of money to people that I would expect to get back. That's how I see it. I'm like, I'm lending this to you, and you can like pay me back when you can. Because if every time I've lent someone money, I've just assumed I'm not going to get it back.
Yeah, and that is a good rule of thumb if you do lend people money to just not expect to get it back.
And so that lets you only loan the amount that you really can. Also, totally agree with your evaluation of the underrepresentation of white collar crime in the zeitgeist. If only someone would make, I don't know, 170 something episodes about it to help the representation of that. That'd be really cool.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be cool. Don't know who will do it, but they're heroes. So yeah, for sure.
Anna Delvey, or Sorokin, whatever you want to call her, was found guilty on April 25th, 2019, and was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison. She was guilty of 8 charges, including grand larceny in the second degree, attempted grand larceny, and theft of services. She was also ordered to pay restitution. Restitution. Our story isn't over, though. On February 11th, 2021, Anna Delvey was released from prison on parole.
She got out earlier than 4 years.
Yep, she only served
2 years.
She only served 2 years. Since then, she has been busy. However, when she was released from jail, she was picked up by ICE because her visa had expired, and she faces deportation, even though that hasn't happened yet.
She's probably in negotiations to extend the visa or something.
And she is currently on house arrest. Now, since her arrest, she has been on the face of books, talk shows, TV shows, podcasts, and more. Netflix paid her $320,000 for her story for their series Inventing Anna. The role of Anna was played by Julia Garner, who played Ruth in Ozark, if you've seen that. It was said that Anna had wanted Margot Robbie to portray her if there was ever a film made about her.
Oh my God, she's the worst. Okay. She just sucks.
Yeah,
everything she does.
She really sucks.
Everything she does is just like it's not like outright awful. It's just like so annoying.
No, she's very ridiculous, I think is the word I want to use about her. She's super ridiculous.
That fits.
Anna Delvey was also recently on Dancing with the Stars wearing her ankle monitor, but she was eliminated recently. Like I said, Delvey is not sorry for what she has done. In that same interview with 60 Minutes Australia, Delvey was asked if she felt any remorse for the people that she hurt, and her response was, "Can you name me the names of the people, and then I can tell you if I feel bad about them."
Hey, Anna, you realize how that's a fucked up thing to say, right?
Yeah, and then like in another interview, they were like, "How were you okay with like taking all this money from your friends?" And she was like, "Well, I was gonna pay them back once my foundation got off the ground." And I was like, "No, you weren't. You were never." That
foundation was never serious. You cannot tell me it was.
No, she was just gonna take that loan and blow the money. She was never gonna start anything with that.
Yeah,
and she never had an intention of paying it back. Like I said, Delvey doesn't see herself as a con artist and that she wasn't calculated. She said it's not her fault because she didn't force anyone to give her that money, and people gave her the money. She didn't force them to do it. They just gave it to her.
You kind of did.
Yeah, you did, though.
You manipulated them for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Delvey says it was easy to deceive people at the top because none of them were very smart.
Neither are you, Anna.
Not really, because like, how are you gonna you eventually have to pay those loans back?
Nothing she did was subtle. I don't know why she thought. Okay. I
don't think she was like a brilliant mastermind by any means. No. Anna Delvey fooled the people of New York into thinking that she was someone she was not. She was able to convince people that she was important and well-liked, all the while stealing from not only big banks, but from her own friends' pockets. Anna Delvey, in my opinion, is the epitome of a narcissist. She has no empathy or willingness to admit for her wrongdoing and refuses to accept any responsibility for what she has done and who she has hurt. Anna Delvey is currently soaking up fame and fortune from her crimes, but eventually it will wear thin. In a few years, no one will care about her story, and she will go back to being who she was before she came to New York. A nobody.
I feel like they need to implement like some sort of rule or law where people who commit these white-collar crimes also can't profit off of them.
I agree with that.
Because for violent offenders, you can't profit off your story.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're gonna make a movie or this Netflix series, like all the money should go to whoever she wronged instead of
it should go to her. It should go to her restitution payment, because that money she got, like her restitution was about $200,000. So that one,
that's not even that much, right?
No, and so then her Netflix deal like paid it off. Now she was only left with $120,000 that like she's just living off of, but like, you know, people are paying her for interviews, all this stuff. So,
yeah, obviously, I mean, Call Her Daddy probably pays pretty well. They got a vice president on there.
Oh yeah, they're like one of the most popular podcasts out there.
So I mean, I'm sure those spots don't pay cheaply for their guests. So.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that was Anna Delvey. If you liked that and want more, you can check us out on social media. We are on Facebook.com/WhiteCollarsRedHands. We are on Twitter at WhiteCollarsPod. We are on Instagram at X. Sorry. We are on Instagram at WhiteCollars_RedHands. We are on TikTok at WhiteCollarsRedHands, and we are on YouTube at, you guessed it, White Collars Red Hands. If you want another free way to support us, you could leave us a review. We love a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but an honest review works too. Another great way to help support us is by telling your friends about us. Word of mouth is a great way to get podcasts off of the ground, and we would appreciate it if you let your friends know about us.
Bring to their house, leave notes under their pillows with a QR code that links to the Spotify. You know, do what you have to do.
Yeah, if they're asleep, play it. Play it while they're asleep.
I'd like to label this as satire.
Oh yeah, this is we're kidding. We're just joking.
Don't actually do
please don't do any.
Don't do breaking and entering.
No breaking and entering.
You know.
If you want an unfree way to support us, you could do that by buying some merch. You could go over to our website, whitecollarsredhands.com. Click on the merch tab. It'll take you on over to TeePublic, and you can get some merch from us. If you hear a white collar crime story and you want us to cover it, please let us know about it. You can do that by DMing our socials or by emailing us at whitecollarsredhands@gmail.com. We try to do a fan submitted episode every single season, so please send those our way. And I think that's it.
That sounds it to me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on another episode of White Collars, Red Hands.